Hey everybody, I'm Kyle Ryssdal. Welcome back to Make Me Smart, where we make the day make sense. It is 29 September, Friday today.
And I'm Kimberly Adams, and thank you, everybody, for joining us for our podcast, as well as those who joined us on the YouTube live stream. It's Friday, and that means we are here for Economics on Tap, our weekly happy hour episode.
We're going to do some news. We'll take a break. We'll do a little half full, half empty, which you're just at. But we will do, as we always do on a Friday, drinks. I'm having nothing. I have nothing going on here, number one, because I've been drinking water all day, and I'm a little overhydrated, if you know what I mean. And number two, Kimberly Adams, what are you drinking?
Are you going to need another mid-show bathroom break like during the live show?
Hey, now? Come on. Well, there are no speakers in the bathroom in my house, so it could be a little challenging. Also, this should only be like 20 minutes. That show went forever.
Fair. It did go forever. Yes. I'm having yet another one of my kitchen cocktails. I smoked my glass in advance. I've decided that this is a thing I like to do. Oh, my gosh. I'm sorry. I just noticed Jasper peering over my shoulder at you.
It's all good.
I swear, you're like his Henry Cavill to, Rory or whatever. So anyway.
I wonder if smoking the glass is a less icky taste than smoking the drink. Remember? Because when I did it that one time, I really didn't like that whole cigar aftertaste thing. I wonder if you smoked the glass.
Because you had the sheen on it. And I think smoking the glass, it mixes in a little bit better. So
yeah, that might be right.
Anyway, this cocktail is peach tamarind shrub with bourbon and peach juice, and it's delicious.
I know I've asked you this before, I just don't remember what the answer is. So shrub is like a cocktail fixin' that you can buy?
Yes, it is. It's like usually a vinegar-based something, and it gives it's infused with various flavors and things.
Gotcha. All right. Makes much more sense.
And this one is an element shrub.
Shrub in mind. So let's see. There's a lot of Jasper love in the conversation right now.
Okay.
There's a polar seltzer, a black cherry. Let's see. Yellowstone bourbon on the rocks for R. McGill. Exploding watermelon, whatever Iasunko is drinking. Smirnoff Ice and tonic water just because, says Marky H. So there you go.
Yeah. Tamara has a diet raspberry Snapple. Michael in Houston doing a Four Roses old fashioned. Jack in Dallas has a bottle of white Australian wine. And I love that.
Wow.
Let's see. Yeah, everybody's doing a lot today. Okay.
Good
love
stuff.
it. Before we get to the news, I want to do a clarification and a mea culpa. So on our Thursday show, when we played at the top of the show that clip from Romina Baccia at the Cato Institute, I was deep into the conversation, so I didn't quite realize how it was going to sound. She said that sometimes the minority party chooses to latch on to these kind of moments to try to get things done. She wasn't actually talking about the Democrats. She was not blaming the Democrats for the shutdown. In the broader context of that conversation, she was actually talking about how Republicans, because they only have the House and not the Senate and the White House, therefore they, and specifically the Freedom Caucus, were latching on to this moment. So some folks in the Discord, thank you very much for flagging that. She was not trying to blame the Democrats for the shutdown, because nobody would.
That's fair.
I was caught up in the larger point. Anywho, but while we're on the shutdown, I discovered today, thanks to some conversations that I was having, that we are not only approaching a government shutdown, which was avoidable and could have not happened, but it's going to happen now. There are also other things expiring right around the same time that will cause additional problems for us. So, for example, the FAA authorization is also running out this weekend. And so I'm just going to read from this Politico article. The FAA's statutory authorization, which primarily allows it to collect and spend tax revenues used to run the aviation system, is due to expire at 11:59 p.m. on Saturday. And that's, by coincidence, the same moment that the agency and the rest of the federal government would shut down. And that will, skim. The FAA said it will lose an estimated $54 million in excise tax revenues every day if Congress doesn't act. Now, airlines apparently kind of have the option to either pocket that money that they would have normally been paying in taxes or lower the ticket prices. I'm sure we can all guess what they're probably going to do, because it's a tax on
Yeah.
airline tickets and fuel that cannot be collected. So when we're calculating the cost of the government shutdown, it's worth calculating the loss in revenue, which exacerbates all of the other problems. And let's see, what's the other one I pointed out? The Farm Bill authorization also running out. And so this is a once every 5 years thing. Several programs tied to the Farm Bill are set to lapse. And this could affect, and again from Politico, everything from subsidies for inflation-stressed farmers to nutrition programs for low-income families. And I think also some flood insurance programs are running out, which could, I think when I was looking at the National Association of Realtors earlier today, they said it could hold up something like 1,300 sales a day, because you
Right.
have to get a sign off from the National Flood Insurance Program in order to close your deal. So I imagine a lot of people are going to be trying to rush closings tomorrow to get ahead of that if you're in an area where you require that. So yay, Congress, you not only dropped the ball, I'm sorry, yay, Republicans in Congress, you not only dropped the ball on this, but everything else too. It's going to be a great weekend.
Yeah, Congress. So three things. Number one, shutdowns always wind up costing the government money. They always
Yes.
wind up costing the government. That's thing number one. Thing number two, for those of you who are into randomly arcane government financing trivia, here's one: the Federal Reserve is self-funding, so they're not going to shut down. Just so we all know. And number three. Members of Congress who are making great show of saying they're not going to take a paycheck during the shutdown, doesn't work that way. 27th Amendment to the Constitution says you may not alter Congress people's pay during the term to which they are elected, so they get paid anyway, just for the record. Their staffs
Oh,
do.
yes. Their staffs do not. Their interns do not. Our DC intern was telling me that some of the people that she knows who are other interns on the Hill, they're going to be screwed because not only do they not get paid, but they came all the way to Washington for these internships and they won't be able to go to work because they're not, unless the interns are deemed essential staff. And so they're getting their experience ruined too. And as someone pointed out as Bob points out in the Discord, we're also going to be missing out on Fat Bear Week because the people who run the social media accounts for Fat Bear Week are not going to be able to work. And there was a very funny article in The Hill today about it, where somebody asked somebody at the Department of Interior about what's going to happen to Fat Bear Week. And they're saying, the bears will continue to be fat without our monitoring them.
Right. Totally. All right. So there's a couple of things in the live chat that I need to address here. Number one, Nick Zahn said the Federal Reserve might not shut down, but the data they rely on does. That is absolutely true. The Census Bureau, the BEA, all of those, they are going to be shut down come tomorrow midnight, actually. Number two, Nisha Kumar says, wait a minute. So the Federal Reserve can print currency during a shutdown. Excellent point. We have talked many times on this podcast about Jay Powell's secret keyboard, which he uses to create money. The catch is that all goes through the Treasury Department, and the Treasury Department will be closed. So it doesn't work that way. Yeah. So anywho. Okay. So with that, we're going to take a quick break before we before we do.
Did you have
What
your
did I do?
story?
I do. Sorry. So, I got caught up in the live chat and all that jazz.
Yeah, it happened.
I want to point out there are actually two speeches this week that I think are of note. Number one was President Biden's speech yesterday at the John McCain National Library, the establishment thereof. Just what the President of the United States thinks about democracy in this country. I think it's worth a listen. But also today, General Mark Milley retires at midnight, the soon-to-be former chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff, now that his replacement has been confirmed by the Senate. Thank you very little, Senator Tuberville. Anyway, he gave what I think you can only call a blistering speech today on his way out about the military, about where its loyalty lies, and where the peril lies for members of the military who forget that. Now, we have to be clear on a couple of things. Number one, Milley blew it in Lafayette Square, walking across with President Trump to St. John's Church about 2-3 years ago in his uniform. That was just a huge mistake, and Millie has owned that. Also, he shows up very conveniently in many Washington books because he's willing to talk to people off the record, and he often comes out the hero. That said, he's had a really tricky time as chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff. He has been beat up. He has been figuratively by the former president of the United States. He has been threatened by the former president of the United States, who has said he ought to be put to death. So he does this with some amount of physical danger. But that's another speech that's worth a read, especially if you're interested in national security or if you are in or contemplating a service career. It is something you ought to read. That's what I got.
Yeah.
That's it. Yeah. Okay, now?
Now you can do the other thing.
Okay, now. So we're done with the news. We're going to take a quick break as we always do. First, though, we got to pay some bills. And here's the deal. We are in our fall fundraiser. We're over halfway to the goal. The goal, of course, was 2,000 donors. We are over 1,000 now participating. We really appreciate that. We got 1 week left, so don't delay. Climb on. It is marketplace.org/GiveSmart. But here's Kimberly Adams with a special treat.
Yes, here's our big announcement for today. If we hit this goal of hearing from another 1,000 of you, we are going to do another Make Me Smart virtual trivia night. We did one a while back and it was super fun and lots of people joined in. And if you give $5 or more right now, you will be eligible to join the trivia night if we hit that goal. So, join yourself and then pressure others. So that way we can have trivia and
Pressure.
Pressure others, yes. Again, it's, nicely, like not the way that we try to pressure Congress to do its job. Much nicer than that. But anyway, again, marketplace.org/GiveSmart and GiveSmart. And thanks to all these folks who've already donated and mentioned Make Me Smart in their donor comments. We have Kirk in Tucson, Arizona, Jane in San Bruno, California, Anthony in Rio Vista, California, Janet in Springfield, Virginia, Nancy in Boone, North Carolina, Steve in Cincinnati, Ohio, and your name too on that list if you join them and chip in. Please and thank you.
Place.org/GiveSmart. Hit us up. We'll be back. Half full, half empty is the game we play on Fridays. Drew Jostad is the guy who's in charge most Fridays. Drew, here you go.
All right. Are you half full or half empty on the Golden Bachelor?
Oh my gosh.
This is so interesting.
So full. I want to watch it. I haven't
you?
yet, but I've been like reading about it. I have had zero interest in any of the Bachelor or Bachelorette content in all of these years that it has been on. I want to watch this show. I want to, and I will when I am not in shutdown life.
I'm half full, mostly because he's a hottie. Have you looked at him? He's 70 years old, and he is smoking hot.
He's taken good care of himself.
Yes, he has. Yes, he has. It makes me wish I took better care of myself. But yeah, I'm
I
half
should have
full.
gotten my
More
grandma
power.
on that show.
More power to the Golden Bachelor.
Yeah.
I would-
Goodness.
I would be remiss if I didn't take this chance to point out to the last season of This Is Uncomfortable, we had a show about reality TV on there
Oh, there you go. Dude, let's get
with a
that cross
former
promo
Bachelor
in.
Nice.
producer.
Make the
Anyway.
bosses happy. You know. All right, go ahead.
In a recent survey of 1,500 business leaders, 45% of companies said they are offering office etiquette training. Are you half full or half empty?
This was the
heard
story
that
Megan
story.
McCarty-Carino did for us. It's
Yeah.
really interesting because especially now with 3-ish years of people who are newish to the workforce not having had real office environments, it can be a real challenge. It was a great piece. I don't think it's a bad idea, and I'm half full.
I am half full as well because, I have a good friend back in Missouri, and she always complains about when I mention her on the show, but I'm going to talk about her anyway, because she had jury duty this week, and she was telling me how nobody knew how to dress for jury duty who was like under a certain age, and people
Totally.
were showing up in like basketball shorts, and the judge is like, absolutely not. And
Totally.
it was right about the time that that story came out, and I was like, yeah, they apparently are having to train people now because they're just not used to it. So I'm half full on anything that, helps level the playing field, because to harken back to another This Is Uncomfortable episode, where the woman was talking about, these kind of markers of poverty or economic inequality. And there was a story about this woman who went out to dinner with some colleagues, and they asked her how she wanted her hamburger done, and she didn't know how to answer that question of
Wow.
whether it should be like rare or medium or whatever, because it's a hamburger. She'd never had one that's been done differently. And
Right.
so, it was just one of these things that if you don't know, you don't know, and then it makes you look silly or bad. And
Right.
we shouldn't all have to conform, but I'm half full on things that help level things out.
Right. Absolutely. Same
Yeah.
here.
Okay, Kansas City Chiefs tight end Travis Kelce has recently gained 300,000 social media followers and a 400% increase in merch sales. Are you half full or half empty on the Taylor Swift effect?
Taylor Swift is the most powerful economic force on this planet. It's the most amazing freaking thing. She's going to see the Chiefs play the Jets this weekend. Ticket prices are up. It's remarkable. Whatever works. Here's what I really hope, though. Actually, I hope if those two dig each other and really enjoy each other's company and want to make this thing work, I hope all this freaking circus doesn't just wreck it for them. That's what I hope.
I am still waiting on data about whether Taylor Swift or Beyonce's tour has a larger economic impact.
Okay.
Because I didn't see people buying like full on silver glitter outfits for Taylor Swift. Maybe they did. I don't know. I'm half empty. I'm kind of over it. I have complicated feelings about Taylor Swift that I don't need to get into here, mainly because I don't want her people coming after me. So I'm just going to go half empty and leave it there.
Fair enough. Next.
All right, we got a poll on this one.
All right, let's do the
right.
poll. Everybody in the YouTube chat, get ready. And yeah, Jasper did leave. I found out from the chat that Jasper is gone. Great. Okay. Anyway, in the poll, yes, please, we will vamp for a bit, but I want you all to vote, please, if you are able. Let's go.
Are you half full or half empty on 6 p.m. dinner reservations?
You want to explain that story?
So it's God, remind me what it was. It was on my show. Sorry, I know.
Kristen
Something
had
about
it.
I remember.
Kristen Schwab
So,
did this story.
yeah.
Kristen Schwab did this story about how, according to Yelp or Open Table data, dinner reservations in the 4 to 6 p.m. hours is up some astronomical amount, while dinner reservations in the 6 p.m. to midnight hours are down some astronomical amount. And Kristen, who is, I have no idea how old she is, but she is not very old, said in our morning meeting, the morning we were talking about this story, she said, I'm good with being home and in bed in my PJs by like 9:30. And I was like, wow, holy cow, that's kind of amazing. So that's the story. People are going to dinner earlier and going home and getting into bed and going nights earlier as well. It's just totally interesting.
Yeah, there's a whole meme on, the TikToks, the Reels, the YouTube Shorts, whatever you want to call it, where the joke is that someone's like, "Hey, do you want to meet up tonight?" They're like, "Sure, what time?" And they're like 9, and the guy's like,
No.
"PM?"
Right.
And then it's
Right.
like,
Exactly.
and I have friends. I find myself, doing versions of that. They're like, "Oh, let's go out clubbing," and I was like, "That club isn't even gonna be good until like 10, and I'm gonna be tired."
Yeah, totally.
And it's like, I had
Clubbing
to
is for the
bail on
young,
Mitchell.
man.
It's not. See Mitchell Hartman. Because the last time
Well,
he was
that's
in
true.
town,
That's true.
I had to
That's a very
bail.
good point. But Mitchell, I think, is a breed apart, right? I mean, Mitchell will go
Yes.
all night. So I don't
Yeah,
think that.
I had to tap out early. I couldn't hang. I was like, "Dude, I
Right.
gotta be up in the morning."
Yeah. Totally. All right,
All right,
where
let's
do we
read
stand
some
on
of
this
these
poll?
comments. Let's see.
Where do we stand on this poll?
Jennifer Pierce says, working from home, and I am now a 10 a.m. and a 6 p.m. 2 meal a day plan. Fair.
Man.
Amy says her circadian rhythm is night owl, so she's barely having lunch by 6. Okay. Let's see. Evil Genius 007 says, at Kimberly, are we the olds? Yes. Yes, we are the olds, and it's
Think we're not.
okay.
I own that.
It's okay.
It's totally okay.
Yes. The vampires who
okay.
ruled the world brainwashed people into wanting to stay up late. Exactly. All right. Here is the poll result for 6 p.m. dinner reservations. Half full. All of us who are tired, 83%.
Overwhelmingly
Half
half full. Holy cow.
We like
something.
sleep. We like comfy pajamas
something.
and being home. I'm here for it. I'm here for it.
Totally fair. That's so funny. All right.
Yeah.
I believe that's the end of the game.
That's it.
Am
That's
I
all we
right?
got.
I'm right.
Yeah.
Charlton Thorpe, waiting on you, yo. There we go. All right, we're done for the day. Questions, comments, you know how to get a hold of us. Voicemail is 508-UB-SMART. Email is makemesmart@marketplace.org. We read them all.
And please don't forget our newsletter. Ellen works really hard on it. You should read it. That is where we share our reading recommendations for the week, sometimes some cocktail and beer recommendations from yours truly and the wonderful Kai Ryssdal. You can sign up at marketplace.org/newsletters.
Make Me Smart is produced by Courtney Bergseeker. Today's episode was engineered by Charlton Thorpe. Nilafar Shabandi is our intern. Drew Jostad wrote the theme music for the game that we play with him, Half Full, Half Empty.
The team behind Half Full, Half Empty is Emily McCune and Antoinette Brock. Marissa Cabrera is the senior producer of the show. And Bridget Bodner is the director of podcast. Francesca Levy is the executive director of digital and today on demand as well.
Today only, though.
Today only.